Let me continue a little. When I came back this time from Turkey, a few people asked me about the anti-American sentiments that are expressed in so much of the world. And I want to say that I'm sorry about those, but I think they're actually unjustified. There's not much you can do to convince some people that. It still stems from the injustice that's being shown toward the Palestinian people. But at the same time, when there's a national disaster or catastrophe somewhere in the world, the American people respond as quickly, sometimes more quickly than anyone else, with a great deal of generosity and charity. And I think it's a sad tragedy of our world that this anti-Americanism is around. All governments deserve some opposition, even from their own people. But the American people do not deserve that kind of an attitude or feeling toward them. The American people are not evil, they're not bad. They're generous, they're compassionate. And in some areas of the United States you find people who still have medieval mentalities, but even with that, you still find a great deal of generosity and compassion and a rising to help people in other parts of the world. And I think that, I wish that were emphasized more. And I really feel sorry that people are so narrow in their appraisal of the United States, because I really think many of these countries, many of these places, many of these very people really owe a debt of gratitude to the American people for the many things they've done throughout the world in a positive way. And but the evil often outweighs the good. The negative outweighs the positive. You know, as Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, when Mark Antony says the evil that do live after them, the good is often interred with their bones. But the United States has done a tremendous amount of good in the world as well. And so I haven't too much to say about this anti-Americanism, except that it really has to do with the injustice toward Palestine more than anything else. But that I wish it were different, but I can't really make it different. So I simply wanted to leave with that. Also, people asked me a little bit about some of the, well, some kinds of scandals or things that go on within the church. Even within the Roman Catholic Church, it turns out that a great number of the accusations of sexual abuse turned out to be false. Some people smelled money, made these. Other people try to cover up for themselves. And I'm going to discuss that a little bit later, because I've actually been the victim of some slanders by people who are trying to cover up for their own misdeeds or cover up for themselves. And all I can tell you is to repeat what I've said so many times: beware, because moral outrage is a form of confession. Anybody who's expressing real moral outrage about something is confessing what's going on inside them. And they're probably trying to cover up for something they did themselves. And I think people should really take note of that and pay close attention to it. And I'll give you a few examples in a little bit later broadcast. So thank you very much, and God bless you, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow evening.